everyone. My name is Janet Curtin, and I am a member of Power in Culture and Ethnicity. We're a self-advocacy group made of and for people with disability from a non-English speaking background. And I am the host of the podcast. I would like to firstly acknowledge the elders, both past and present. I'm speaking from the Wurundjeri land, and I would like to introduce you to a very fierce and active and passionate self-advocate, Athena from Shepparton, Victoria.
Hello, Janet. Thank you for the introduction. I would like to just start by introducing myself for those that don't know me. I'm Athena Papadatos. I have been living in Shepparton for about 35 years. I come from a Greek background, and I was born with cerebral palsy and am wheelchair bound. But that doesn't stop me from reaching my goals or dreams.
Can I first ask you, can you share your experience of COVID-19, and particularly from a perspective of someone that comes from regional Victoria? Because I know that they often get left behind and have less
Janet,
resources.
I consider myself to be lucky. COVID didn't affect me as much as it affected others to begin with, because I was still working from home. So I was working a couple of days a week. I still had my personal care needs coming in, which meant that I got to see different people throughout the day, throughout the week. So I was okay, for the first couple of lockdowns. But by the time it got to, number 5, number 6, number 7, by the time it got to number 7, I was writing to my counsellor going, not again. Why again? Why do I need to miss out on my social activities? I felt like I was getting to the stage where I was planning social activities within the hope that I could do them, but then at the last minute find out, no, but we need to cancel because of the fact that we are in lockdown again. Now, that to me affected me emotionally, because I like to be out. I like doing, weekend activities away in Melbourne. I like going out for my fortnightly trivia games and all that sort of stuff. While I was in lockdown, I couldn't do. So by the time it came to, like I said before, number 7 lockdown, my depression was back harder than it was before, because, all I had was my round circle of carers that I would see every day. I couldn't even see my own family members. I've got an older brother, and the only connection that I had with him was that I could call him. He couldn't come and visit.
It must have been, I can't even imagine. Well, I can. Melbourne was in a big lockdown, but I think in regional Victoria, it's kind of more isolating.
Look, like I said, I consider myself lucky that I have personal care needs that need to be met now. Other than my social activities, those personal care needs still continued. So I got to see different people every day, and I was still working at the time. For the majority of the lockdowns, I was working for ECCV Melbourne. So, I had that interaction with different people via Zoom. But can I just take it a step backwards and say that I do know that other people with disabilities were isolated. Now, you might say that, okay, but that's normal for people with disabilities because most of them are isolated anyway, particularly in regional Victoria. And if you come from a multicultural background, most of the disabled people are isolated. But for me, I see COVID as a bigger isolation.
In what way, Athena?
Just because, they couldn't do any face-to-face activities. You had the option of doing Zoom, but a lot of people with disabilities don't know how to use Zoom, don't have Facebook, don't have any social media platforms. Some may not even have a phone, some may not even have a computer.
Yeah, so technology was a barrier.
Yes.
So it was like the stairs that we have to face every day, like accessibility. Really, in COVID, it was technology knowledge and how to use it, and even to have internet access, I guess.
Yeah. A lot of people with disabilities don't have the option for modern technology skills. I'm trying to get a self-advocacy group up and running here. And one of the sessions that I would like to run is how to use Zoom and how to use Teams. So just to give people the option of, okay, we don't necessarily need to leave home. You can still talk to people no matter where they are. Like, for example, I've got a couple of friends that are in Melbourne that I talk to on WhatsApp quite regularly. So that's another way of communicating. Although I can't see certain people face to face every day as much as I would like to, I still have that option of, okay, well, before going to bed, I can do a video chat with a friend.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's all about connection. I think that's the number one thing that people missed out of the pandemic is that connection to people, that and that loneliness is amplified, isn't it?
Like I said, Janet, I was fine first couple, then number 4, number 5. When it comes to number 7, I was like, not again.
Yeah, I know what you mean. What do you do to look after your mental health?
I coped with COVID by using my counsellor on a regular basis and also keeping a journal. I've been working with this guy for about 18 months now, and I think without him, I would have fallen in the traps, particularly when I was, the lockdown after lockdown. I think I would have fallen. And I mean, it's not easy for a person with a disability. I have my good and bad days, and talking to someone that's not a stranger, but someone that doesn't know you as well as your friends and family do is a better way to explore options on how to do things. They might make a suggestion that you haven't thought of. For people with disabilities, most of those services could be added into your NDIS package, so they're not a cost to the individual.
Great, your wealth of knowledge, Athena.
Well, years of experience, Gemma.
I know, we got the right person. How did you find getting vaccinated?
Shepparton was one of the places that was fully vaccinated pretty much straight away. So, to Shepparton's credit, Shepparton people did what they needed to do. To be honest, I don't agree with the vaccinations, but, due to the work that I do and due to me wanting to be a social butterfly, I had to go and have the vaccinations, and I'm quite happy to go and have them because of me wanting to have an everyday life like everybody else.
How did you find getting vaccinated? Was it easy?
As far as do I think it is easy? Yes, I do think it is easy because I just booked a carer. She came along with me, and I was also one of the lucky ones. Didn't have any side effects. I've had 3 out of the 4 vaccinations.
Back to your carers, did you find it hard at any stage to fill those shifts?
No, because I'm using 3 different providers.
Oh, so that's the trick. Don't put all your eggs in the one basket.
Yep.
So yeah, that's a good tip, Athena. Have you ever had to take a test, a COVID
Yes, I have.
test? And can you do that independently?
No, that is the one thing I need assistance with. And I do think that they don't make it easy for people with disabilities. If there was an easier way for a person with a disability to have a COVID test, that would be, a lot better.
Yeah. I find that too because I have a disability myself. What do you find hard taking the test? Like
Just
what
having to put it in your mouth and having to, do it properly, that sort of thing.
yeah, me too, me too. Can I ask, have you had COVID?
No, I haven't. And my family find it amazing that I haven't had COVID due to the fact of all the time that I have been out and go, the amount of times that I go to Melbourne, because I at least go to Melbourne at least once a month to visit friends and do different activities, and I haven't caught COVID anywhere. I sort of had the attitude towards the end of COVID, Janet, that I wanted to get it.
Yeah, just so you can plan around it, yeah?
Yeah, well, not
Yeah.
around it. I just had so many people have it and tell me different stories about it that I sort of got to the stage where I was going, well, you know what? I want to have it, so I really want to see what it's like for me, not so much be told by someone else what it's like.
Yeah. Well, I hear, because I've had it, I hear that it's different for everyone, which makes me understand where you're coming from, like that you think it's a cold and all that, because for some people it is
That's all
like
it is,
a
yeah.
cold. Yeah, but for other people, oh, the pictures of the lungs being all congested and people drowning in their own breath as well. So I think there is a spectrum, and I think being vaccinated just gives you that security. But yeah, I know where you're coming from, and I know why you have that point of view because everyone's experience is different. So, uh, back to the vaccination, do you think the information was easy to understand for people from
Look,
non-English speaking backgrounds?
no, I don't, because I see it with my own parents. The multicultural languages for me is a barrier when it comes to services. A lot of people don't understand what particular services do, two, how they can assist people, and a lot of multicultural people are scared to ask for support or assistance from a service.
I think it's harder to get interpreters out in regional areas, and that's a big barrier for people
It,
during the pandemic and everyday life.
it is, Janet, but what I'm finding is true that people don't want to use interpreters from Shepparton because 9 times out of 10 they know them. So
Oh,
the easiest solution is that they use it on the phone interpreter.
oh, that's true. Yeah. I guess you don't want to have an interpreter that in your doctor surgery or at your Centrelink. Yeah. And what kind of advice would you give people with disabilities or without disabilities about how to move on now?
Look, You can live in the attitude COVID's over, or you can live in the attitude of, for me, COVID is something we're not going to get rid of. It is more of let's find ways to deal with it. It is really important to go and get vaccinated. And it is good that most workplaces are saying that you need to at least have 3 vaccinations to be able to work.
Yeah, I agree.
If you ever need help, or if you're ever unsure of how to reach out to a service, please approach that service, or please talk to someone about assisting you to get help. As far as COVID goes, like I said earlier, it's really important to be vaccinated for those that want to be, and try to live life to the fullest and the best that the individual can.
Thank you, Athena.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. Please check out our content at Power in Culture and Ethnicity, created through this campaign on our Facebook and YouTube channel.